Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. I have some fun Thanksgiving centerpiece ideas for you today. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the bell to be notified every time I post, and a thumbs up is very much appreciated. Okay, our first centerpiece. This is going to be the centerpiece for my kitchen table. I'm going to use 2 of those pumpkin wire wreath forms from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use some of this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree as well. This rope is actually like 3 ropes wrapped together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to unwind those. I found the best way to do that was to unwind like one out of it all the way around. And then the other 2 are easier to take apart from each other. You can just kind of pull them apart. But they come apart in these great little cords, and I thought they'd be perfect for the technique we're going to do today. I saw this on a blog. Somebody had done this with just the wreath form, and I thought I could take it up a notch and make a centerpiece with 2 of them. So this is my plan. I want to do macrame. Now what I'm going to do is take one of these ropes that I separated out, right? And I'm going to find like the middle of it. And that's about halfway right there. So on one of the little wires that go up and down, I'm just going to wrap that rope around it and tie a knot. Now that's going to be the beginning of my macrame. What I'm going to have is the wire is going to be my 3rd part of my macrame. And so I'm going to do this pretty slow so I can show you exactly how I did it. But you make an L with the one on the left, like that. Then you take the rope on the right and go over it, go down and through the hole right there between the wire and the left side and pull that through. So basically that just tied the knot like that. Now to make this really cool macrame pattern, you're just going to repeat that same exact knot over and over. And you'll see it turns out really cool. It turns out into like a spiral pattern. And then I found a way to even make it a little bit chunkier. So I made that same exact knot the same way with the L over and through. And one more time here so you can kind of get the hang of it. And then we're going to rock and roll on this because I have a lot of macrame to do on this. This first one I did on the craft table. The second one I did just watching TV because it can be a little bit time consuming. But it's one of those things, you know, like knitting and stuff like that where you can just do it and do it. It's kind of therapeutic. So just keep tying that same knot over and over. You'll get really fast at it once you do it for a while. And unfortunately, this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree is not long enough to go all the way down one of the wires on the pumpkin wreath form. And so I do have to start and stop on each one. So if you do have access to like a longer rope or string, it would be beneficial because I did have to start and stop, and that was kind of time consuming. So that's how far the first one made. And you see the cool spiral pattern that goes around, but when you twist it, look how cool and chunky it gets. I love that. And I learned this technique on a blog, and I'll try to post that below. I thought it was a fabulous idea. She didn't use like this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. She used something else, but I thought I could do it with all supplies from the Dollar Tree. And I really can't believe how well this turned out. It's a pretty large centerpiece for my Thanksgiving table, but it is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. So I am just doing that macrame knot until I run out of rope on each one of the little 6 wires that go down the middle. And I do plan to do the outer rim of the pumpkin too, but what I'll do is I will do that when I put the 2 pumpkins together. And I'll have that kind of be the middle pole. So you'll see here in a minute. So I am tying those off. Once I get them tied to the end, then I turn them and get that cool chunky pattern, tie a knot, and then start doing it again. And I have never done macrame before. My arms were tired after this for sure, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And I think it turned out just so beautiful. So when I get them all tied off like this, I'm just going to trim the leftover rope, just a short little piece that I can glue down. And what I did is I took hot glue and carefully just glued those down to kind of look like a knot so that I can start again and there'll be like a subtle transition. And I don't want any of that looking sloppy. So I just do a little hot glue and kind of press that down and shape it. When it cools off, you can shape it a little bit better, but be careful, don't burn yourself. I did burn myself actually on this. I dripped some hot glue on one of my knuckles. Oh my goodness, I have the biggest blister on my finger. I burn myself all the time with that hot glue gun. I love it, but I burn myself all the time. So I got those all glued down and looking nice. So now I can go in with some more of these ropes. I think I lost count. Let me think if I can remember how many ropes it took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I used a total of 8 ropes. I could be wrong. I'll try to figure that out and post it below. And so I'm just tying off the bottom part of this part. It was almost long enough to go. I only had to do like 2 or 3 knots on this side and then trim that off. And I'm just going to fill in all of the spaces on the wire that weren't covered from the first rope. So I'm just kind of using bits and pieces of the same ropes and tying them off and trimming them. And once I get to the end of these, I'm going to do the same thing I did at the end of the first ones, where I'm just trimming, them short, and then I'm just going to hot glue those down. I did avoid tying it over the end of the rope because I didn't really want to interfere with the pattern that I do around the bottom. So there, I did it twice. Now I found that the stem doesn't really line up too well when you put them back to back. So to remedy that, I'm just going to cut one off. I just take some wire cutters and I carefully just cut off the stem on one. That way I won't have to worry about them not matching up in the middle. And now everything matches up. So I'm going to take a rope and I'm going to tie it off right there in the center where the 2 pumpkins come together and it kind of goes down a little bit. That's where I'm going to start. So I just do a knot like I did before. And then I'm going to macrame this around. Now, I kind of macrame until I don't have any more room in that section. And then I go to the next section by just wrapping it around and macrameing around. And it did a really good job of covering like all of the wire rim that would be exposed. So basically I'm using the 2 wires together from the back to back of the pumpkins as the middle part of my macrame. And I'm just doing the same exact pattern that I did before. Now it's giving that spiral pattern, which is okay in those small areas. But when I do get down here to the open side, I do get enough of a pattern where I can spin it and give it that little chunky look like I did on the other parts. So that's about how far one string goes. And so I just cut it, hot glued it. And so I am going to start now right there where I left off and tie a knot and then just start macrameing again. And this almost goes around for half of the pumpkin, but I think I ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, maybe 4.5 sections to get all the way around. And that's what I mean right there. I just kind of turned to that side piece and it made it all chunky. And then I just keep macrameing around, filling in any gaps that you can see there in the pumpkin. And I was having a hard time trying to get this all on camera because this thing is actually really large. I love these pumpkin wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. They're really pretty and I can't believe they only cost $1. So I am working on the other side So I started in the middle again, went down about halfway, and then I'm starting another one and going down to the bottom. Now, I do run out of rope along the bottom. I wasn't sure if I was going to fill it in, but when I get to the bottom, and I was afraid that you might be able to see the exposed wire there at the bottom, that I do go in with another rope and tie that off and macrame that opening in the bottom, and all of our wire is covered for the pumpkin part. Now I just have the stem, and I just do the same macrame all the way around the stem, and we only have one of them because we cut the other one off. Now I was trying to find something that would hold this up because it's kind of an odd shape. So I'm going to use one of these little fall long signs, just like upside down, and I am going to use hot glue to try to attach the rope sides of the pumpkin to that base. This isn't the heaviest sign, but it did work because it was kind of just an awkward thing. I couldn't really glue it to something flat. I thought I needed something in a box shape. But if you were to make the box out of real wood, it may be better because it would be heavier. But I was trying to use supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just using hot glue wherever it touches. Now I thought I could decorate the base of this centerpiece with these little burlap leaves from the Dollar Tree. So I have these maple ones that are like a dark brown, and then I have the lighter burlap ones as well. And I have 5 of each, and these both came from the Dollar Tree. They were in their fall section. And I'm just going to attach them to that box with hot glue. And I'm going to alternate like 3 brown and 2 tan on one side, and then vice versa on the other one. I'm going to go ahead and use all 10 leaves. And I'm just kind of overlapping them. The 1, 2, and 3 kind of on the bottom, or 1, 3, and 5 kind of on the bottom, and 2, 4 kind of on top. And I know it's a little hard to see there because the pumpkin's kind of in the way, but I will show that to you in just a minute. So I got the one side done, and now we're going to work on the other side. So this one I'm going to have my big leaves along the front, alternating, and then I have the smaller leaves where I'm going to glue those kind of on top. And this covers up my box, and it kind of gives a fun little fall theme to my little centerpiece. And I have a plan for a burlap runner for my table too, and I thought that those would look really good together. So it is coming along nicely. Now I thought I'd put pumpkins inside. So I got these great pumpkins at Target Dollar Spot, and I got the big one this year. I think the smaller ones last year. Just use whatever you've got, but these were the perfect colors for a coastal theme in my house, but you can do whatever colors you want. And I like those. I thought about using some of the yarn ones, but I thought that might be a little too much. Now there was a little gap in the bottom underneath the pumpkins, and so I'm just taking Spanish moss and filling in any of the open areas along the bottom with some Spanish moss, just by kind of filling in any of the little openings there. And that gave a great final touch to this project there. Now I was trying to decide if I wanted to add like a thankful sign or something to it. And I got these great signs at the Dollar Tree. They're metal. They're with the unstand at my Dollar Tree with the galvanized metal, not necessarily like fall or Thanksgiving stuff. And I got 2 of these great little galvanized metal signs. And I didn't really want to cover up the pumpkin or do anything with that, but I'm just going to apply some hot glue, and I'm going to kind of sit them on the leaves that I used to decorate the base. It's going to be easy to read it down there when you're like looking at the table, but it's not going to take away from the structure of the pumpkin, and you'll be able to see the little pumpkins inside. And this actually turned out pretty cool. I went back and forth whether I should add it or not, but I'm glad I did. It makes it very good for Thanksgiving. And I guess we should be thankful anytime, right? So I'm just attaching it to hot glue, with hot glue where it kind of touches the leaves. Just a little bit on both sides so it will stay on there. And this is the runner I got for my table. Isn't it pretty? I got this on Amazon. I can post a link below. I love it. I think it's great for a coastal feel. And I am just going to iron it with my little easy press to get out the wrinkles because it was folded up in the box. Now I thought about making this runner, but I think it might have been cheaper to actually buy it. Okay, here's our next project. Check out that cool basket I got at the thrift store for $1. So I thought I could kind of make like kind of a cool cornucopia for Thanksgiving centerpiece. So I am using these gourds I found at the Dollar Tree and just whatever I have. I end up not using the little ones. And then I got this Indian corn at the Dollar Tree too. One comes in a 2-pack and one comes in a 1-pack, but they're almost exactly the same. And I'm just kind of seeing what would look good in this little basket. And I got these pumpkins. These are the pumpkins from the Dollar Tree that I had previously painted with pumpkin chalk paint. And I saved those, and I'm glad because they're perfect for this. But I wanted mine to be special and coastal, so I'm going to paint mine blue, different shades of blue. That first one I painted was the color, I can't remember. I'm going to have to post it below. That one's agave. And then the last one I do in the color pool, what was the color? It wasn't Lagoon. I think I have too many colors of blue. I can't remember. But I do like 3 different colors of blue in the chalk paint by Waverly. And I did find that they were a little hard to paint, so I just got some skewers and kind of poked them in the end because they're kind of styrofoam on the inside, and that made them way easier to paint and then also to dry because I put them in that little extra styrofoam piece I had there to allow them to dry. And then I am using a chunky brush in those same colors, and I'm going to do the Indian corn in 3 different colors as well, just painting the kernels. The brush worked great because it gave like a great texture where you kind of see the yellow behind, but then the like little corn pieces are actually the different colors of blue. And I thought that was really fun. The lighter color did require a second coat to cover all that orange up, but otherwise we're pretty good here. 2 of them had stems, so I just painted those to kind of match, and 1 did not. And we are ready to decorate our little centerpiece basket. I think this basket's so cute. But oh no, I'm completely out of Spanish moss. So that is going to have to do. So I'm going to use some of those little pumpkins from the Dollar Tree that I painted with pumpkin chalk paint and just start arranging. So pumpkins, gourds, corn, more pumpkins. And I'm just trying to make it really full and very coastal Thanksgiving, kind of alternating as I go and using as many as I can possibly get in there. And then I got a couple starfish. I got these on Amazon the other day. I can post a link below for those as well too. They're beautiful. They're great size. And just a couple of those in there to give me a coastal feel. And I think that looks really good. But then I decided I wanted it to be a little bit wider, lighter. And so I'm just going in with a chunky brush and some ivory chalk paint, and I'm just going to brighten up that dark wood handle just to give it a little bit more of a coastal feel because it just seemed a little dark for my decor. But I already had everything in there, so I kind of left it all in there, and I just kind of dry brushed this on. And I love how it turned out. I think it made it look a lot better. And this is a second centerpiece for Thanksgiving. This would be great for a smaller table or maybe like an entryway. Okay, here's the final reveal. This is the Thankful Macrame pumpkin centerpiece that we made with the Dollar Tree pumpkin wreath forms, Dollar Tree nautical rope. Those cute little pumpkins inside are from the Target Dollar Spot. And the leaves, the burlap leaves, and the thankful are all from Dollar Tree as well. And look at the texture. I love the macrame. I think it's so much fun. And I think it looks really good with this runner. I'm going to be decorating that more, maybe with some starfish and stuff. And here is our second little basket. This is really sweet. I love this basket. Thrift stores are fantastic places to find cool baskets like this. And I love that I painted my gourds and my corn blue. And the little starfishes with the little pops of orange in there from the pumpkins. So cute. And all those items, except for the starfish, came from the Dollar Tree. I am out of my Dollar Tree starfish, unfortunately. So I did have to order those on Amazon. And then my thrift flip basket. What do you guys think about these 2 Thanksgiving centerpieces today with a little bit of a coastal touch on both of them? Of course, I really enjoyed making them for you today. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and like and comment your favorite thing. Okay, thanks everybody. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.